The Republican Party has gone full on Nazi. They are pushing basically eugenics. The biggest reason that the Nazi Party was considered extremely evil. They're saying that old people and sick people should die for the good of society. We need to open back up the. They are. Is that being dishonest and unfair? Maybe leftists do need to start being a little more unfair towards the right. I guess you could argue that we kind of are already in some aspects, but and calling them Nazis, it's pretty bad. But what are they doing? They're arguing because they see the immediate suffering, but they don't really care because they don't really care about what they can't see. They don't. And if they have someone willing to tell them something that they're already willing to believe because they are intrinsically not very intelligent, the idea, right-wingers tend to are extremely tribal, like exceedingly tribal. So the concept of caring for others is a little bit more foreign to that frame of thought. The idea that helping someone else may actually benefit you in the long run and come around, swing back to you is something a little harder to see than it is to maybe help a family member who could in turn help you back. So they are a little bit more tribal. They're a little bit more caveman. What is troglodyte? But more troglodytes from Jurassic Park Ghost World. The little girls. I learned that word. But they're a little bit troglodytes. They don't really take things on a grander scheme. It's more on a micro level than a macro level. Their frame of thought. And to be fair to them, it's harder to see on a macro. Things are harder to see on a macro level. They're harder to measure, harder to judge, more difficult. But the effects are unmistakable. Legalizing abortion has reduced crime, has reduced poverty. Yes, objectively, ending life is pretty sad, but forcing someone else to carry another life inside of them is objectively worse. Just as if they don't want to. If they don't want to, you shouldn't. There's nothing that can morally be. There's no equal thing. If someone comes into your house and starts eating your food, you have every right to remove them from your house. There is no other equal thing for men to experience, pregnancy and whatnot. So it's harder for a lot of men to empathize, and that's why the left generally are without exception tend to be a little bit better people, because we believe there should be no exceptions to those who receive help if they need it. It can be demonstrated that they deserve it as well, like Dumbledore said. Great Dumbledore said, help will always be provided at Hogwarts to those who need it, who deserve it. And or something paraphrasing, but yeah, things are extremely complicated, and the right is always simplifying it and completely disregarding things and equivocating and what is the word? blaming blaming the most powerless. The right wing ideology is always blaming the little guy, whereas the left wing ideology is like, hey, these guys don't have the power, that much power. They really aren't the bad guys. But then again, there's just an overlap in American society now, where the right and the left are pretty much the same, whereas the right are far right and the left are just center right. And that's why Bernie Sanders was such a breath of fresh air. He was legitimately, genuinely a leftist, something that we don't really see. He is still going to be fighting for people, and it's pretty amazing. Man, I would love to run for office, but I have nothing, I don't have a single thing what it takes. I could maybe help assist other people who run for office with whatever skills I have. But I am definitely going to try to become more political, because it really is exciting to defeat your opponents. It's one of the best things, one of the best feelings ever. It's just heart, and it's also heartbreaking when you don't succeed. But that's that's life. So I genuinely believe that the right needs to completely, don't mention that it's only poor people, old people. Well, it's only sick people, poor people. Oh, of course, the poor tend to be overwhelmingly more sick. That's because they can't afford to go to get health care. And that's why that's why Medicare for All would have completely changed what we're seeing right now. That's why if we had that now, we would have experienced this entire pandemic completely different. But America is very slow to learn now, because we have given power to oligarchs to the point that why would they want change? They don't want change, and they have all the power, they have all the media, and it amazes me that people think that there is not a single right-winger you can point to that actively condemns the oligarchs in this country. They worship the rich and the powerful. They absolutely worship the rich and the powerful, and then they go around and claim that the Democrats are the ones trying to make government overreach. But no, the Democrats want to give people more freedom by having the power of the government provide more opportunity for people. You actually have more opportunity when you don't have to worry about paying your health insurance premiums, don't have to worry about going into a doctor. You don't have less freedom by not being able to choose your doctor, even though you would be able to. And they do a lot of great marketing pretending otherwise. So, long story short, the right needs to eliminate that their eugenics talk right now. It is absolutely it can't help them. That is not the message that they need to do. They can come up with, they can make their argument that closing the economy is hurting people, and that's because it's true. But don't say that it's just old people and sick people. Under any circumstance, it's not acceptable. That's a free tip from me to you. Have a wonderful day.